Right, morning. I wish they'd done this yesterday. Anyway, so welcome back to NZ Motor Outlaw Customs. My name's Glenn. Where this falls on a video, I'm not sure. But anyway, we looked at that little car Monday. It's now Wednesday. Yeah, they were toing and froing and all sorts of things, because I just don't think the lady actually realised the kind of money that's involved in doing some things. Like, I bet she's glad she didn't pick to change the colour. Like she was going to at one point. She wanted to paint the car purple at one point. And I said, well, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, the paint on it's pretty good. Like, you know, for the most part, it's pretty salvageable. You know, we will better spraying a couple of panels just to clean them up. Where, you know, there was a couple of spots in the back where it's a bit flaky and shit like that, like on the rear of the boot or trunk. And obviously we've got the rust repairs. But I said, you know, if we just go with the same colour yellow, as long as we, or yellowy or orange or whatever you want to call it, and get a really good match, you know, it'll be far cheaper. You know, so a respray, then we can start doing inside the doors, especially when you completely change colour. Like if you did something that was close, it wouldn't be quite so bad, but you could probably leave the yellow on the inside, if you know what I mean. But I said, you need to paint the engine bay, and you got to paint inside the doors and inside the door jambs and all those places, especially if you completely change it. You probably could have just backmasked it and sprayed purple on the outside and had yellow on the inside. But I said, it's a lot of extra work. I said, you know, the price goes way up. So, you know, all that money then we could spend on other things, you know, like getting the upholstery done and all that sort of shit. And I'm quite glad that she didn't think of changing the colour, because she was humming and hawing at the rough ballpark I gave her, you know, because it was like, just to give a rough idea, when I talked to the upholstery people, they said about $3,000 to redo the front and back seats. You know, we're talking in New Zealand dollars, not here American. So if you have, you know, it'd be about $1,500 American, thereabouts. But that's full recover, new foam and all that sort of bullshit, because they said the likelihood of getting the exact match in upholstery fabric is very slim, but they might better get something that's really close, but it will just look weird together. But if it's just on the seats and not on the door panels, it won't be too bad, if you know, as long as it's just a similar colour. But I said, if it's two completely different fabrics, it'll look shit if you're trying to patch stuff. And they said it's basically not quite a 50-year-old car, but it's close. It's only 2 years younger than me. So, like they said, the likelihood of getting all the vinyl apart where it's all gone all brittle and welded itself together. He said all the supple parts, he said you might get that apart, but the pieces that you want to save off the shit stuff just mightn't come apart nicely. And they said there's so much more extra time and work trying to pick that apart nicely than just getting it apart to make patterns, if you know what I mean. Obviously, if they need patterns, but yeah, they said, you know, we'll put new foam in it, we'll go through all the springs and all sorts of stuff, make sure they're all good. You know, again, 50-year-old car, or close to it, yeah, and we'll just redo the old upholstery. You know, about $3,000, give or take, you know, here or there. You know, it might be a few $100 cheaper. They said probably $3,000 tops, you know. So it's like, right, so priced up all the windscreen rubbers, that's about $800. The paint products, you know, it's like probably only needed a litre of paint, but you know, you also got to put into the thing, you know, there's a little bit of, there's a bit of primer in there, there's a bit of this, bit of that, whatever. So by the time you turn that back into retail, or cost that I'm charging you, about $700 or thereabouts. So there's 3, we'll call it 4, we'll call it 5, you know, ballpark figures. You know, that's allowing a little bit here and there, but they say, you know, we want to go through and change the oils, you know, gearbox, trans, filter for the trans, filter for the engine. We'll check the diff walls, we'll check the brake lines, we'll check the brake linings, you know, all those bits and pieces. It's going to need the fuel flushed out of it. It's been sitting 4 years. Go through all that stuff. We'll check all the hoses on the radiator. You know, we'll flush we'll drop the what do you want to call it? The coolant. You know, flush all that out. Make sure there's no problems there. And so that's without fixing any rust. You know, there's probably another, by the time you do all those things, and labour, you know, there's another, you know, close to $1,000 by the time, just time and fucking around and whatever, you know, by the time you drain the diff oil and then put it back in and all that sorts of bits and pieces, and change the trans fluid and fuck around and change the oil and change the filter and flush the fluid and then just go over everything else, pull the brakes off. You know, if nothing's wrong with it, it's fine, it's good. But the only thing I can get from a local parts store, I can get a few engine gaskets and oil and filters. I can't get anything else. Can't get brake parts, can't get any of those bits. So they've got to come from somewhere that specialises in that sort of stuff. So that's what I explained to her. I said, you know, it's gonna be, and by the time I do the rust and the paint and then go through all these other bits and pieces, you know, I don't foresee too much, but you see, you know, we don't know what else we're going to find for rust once we actually get these other pieces off. You know, if it's rusted that guard off, what else is it rust off around it, you know, like the mounts and bits and pieces in the front of the bodywork and whatever. And there's a couple other little spots I've noticed that don't look anything major, but we'll just have a wee poke at some of those places, and we'll just, if there's nothing bad, you know, we'll just better do a little bit of a clean up and put a wee bit of body filler and then flick a little bit of primer, and then we'll just better dust a bit of paint back in there, just in case there's nothing there. It might be just a couple of little spots, you know. But yeah, it's just, that all takes time, you know. And she was hooping and hollering at 10 grand. And also, well, you want to do these things, it's an old car. It takes time and money, you know. I've got to hire a trailer because I don't have a trailer, you know. So these are $150 plus fuel, my time, whatever, to go do it and get it. So we'll go pick up the missus. So she's going to give me a hand. She's just dropping the young fellow off at school, and then I'll grab a bit of extra fuel because I'm now dragging a trailer. And yeah, we'll go get this little car and then we'll drag it back to the workshop. Right, so we finally got back here. Fucking ridiculous on the way back. There's a couple lots of road works that we had to go through, and we went a slightly different way on the way back to get a drink, and there's road works there as well. So we pulled up to, you know, you get those freaking automatic bloody lights you get for road works, you know, obviously out in the countryside or whatever. And it's got like just the sensor, so I pulled up basically in front of it, but I probably wouldn't have been that far away. I don't know, maybe, you know, I might have been, I wouldn't have been the distance from the trailer, from that thing to the front of that car. I might have been maybe a third less sort of type thing. So I was back a little bit so I could sort of see, obviously see what the light was doing properly. And fucking, you think the cunt thing would change? And it was one of those places that was really blind, like it was a real blind hill. And fucking sat there for 40 fucking minutes. And there was like probably about, I don't know, about 7 or 8 cars come through from the other direction. I thought, there's fucking got to be something wrong with this fucking light. It's not picking us up or something bullshit like that. So eventually managed to flag down one of the people that was coming through and said, oh, freaking, fortunately it was a local, and he said, oh yeah, no, there's some guys around the corner here doing some more road works. I'll go tell one of them, and they come back and they flicked it manually. But he said, oh, you might have been just a little bit further back. And I said, fucking hell, I wasn't that far back. Like, if it can't see me from that distance, this fucking thing, it's not very good. But anyway, so yeah, we're back here. It's a bit freaking heavy push by myself. I did have the missus with me, but because we ended up being fucking sitting in this place for 40 minutes, basically, I had to drop her back off home because she had another little appointment to do at lunchtime. But, so yeah, so we've got to fix the rot in the front yard. I think I should better get the petrol flap off for a map, or for a match, gas flap, what do you want to call it. So yeah, the window rubbers are obviously absolutely shot. I'm hoping the rest will brighten up pretty good. There's a few little dents and marks. Like, obviously I'm not going to worry about that, but anywhere it looks really quite shabby, we'll have a bit of a poke. Like, there's a little bit of a funny spot down here. I think it's worth cleaning back and just having a wee poke. And like, if there's a wee rusty spot, we'll just blow out a patch and do a wee bit of body work, and we can just blend that in. I noticed there's a little bit of funny stuff just a little bit of rusty stuff down in the bottoms of the back quarters. So we'll have a wee poke at that, just to clean it up. Obviously there's a bit of shit around here, so we might just give this a wee sand back, and when we spray the car, you know, we can just give that a wee dust in. Look, it's got a bit of a dent there. I might better just knock that out while I'm doing that, just to tidy up. We're going to repaint the boot lid because it's flaking off, so we may as well give that a good scuff back, pull the badges off, give that a scuff back, and probably we'll either blend it in or we'll repaint it. If the match is really good, we might just end up repainting it and then maybe just blend it in a little bit. We'll just see. And this bottom of this back guard's a wee bit the same. You're not going to be able to fix everything, but for the money we got, but we can probably just improve things the same. That's got a little bit of wee bit of rot just trying to start here, so we'll give that a wee clean up, put a wee patch in if we have to. Obviously there as well, we'll have to have a good look in behind there, make sure it's not really rotten in behind there like any other bits and pieces, because I can't remember. I think these panels come off, because some of these things, English things, were weird. They look like they come off but they didn't, but I think these come off. You can see where it's been touched up before, obviously. So we'll try and, you know, while we're doing that, we might, if the paint matches good. Now, obviously, when we get the glass out, we'll clean up and around here. So we might have to flick a little bit of paint in here. We might better just blend this in a little bit better and clean it up, and just, we won't do everything. And quickly show under here. So I need to get that trailer back. I don't want to end up painting heaps of stuff, but there's a few spots that we might better just give a wee rub, you know, and just mask everything out, and just flick a little bit of colour on, if you know what I mean, just a few edges. And if the paint really matches up good, I'll make sure, I'll just say, look, it's fucking got to be a good match, otherwise. I know it's been painted a couple of times, but was, but yeah, like, see this wood, that's all separated, so it would have been originally urethane on. So hopefully I can get in there and clean it up, and then get some urethane and maybe get some big clamps on there and just get it to glue back together. They're pretty flimsy, so, you know, try and fix that, so at least, you know, it's not pulling apart. But yeah, and get the upholstery done. And obviously we'll go through the brakes, because I think the brakes are dragging. To be honest, it probably needs tyres. I checked, I think the date code on that one was like 2008. I think some of the other ones are only like 2010 or something like that. So probably from the front ones are probably 2008 and the back ones probably 2010 or whatever they are. So like, they're pretty old. You know, if she's going to be towing something around, it mightn't hurt to put a fresh set on. As you can see, like, this upholstery is actually quite supple, but it's all broken and ripped and sun damaged and whatever. So I think it probably, the likelihood of getting a perfect match, you may as well redo the hot lock. It's got some mould on it and whatever. It probably actually needs carpets too. Or I might price up a carpet kit for it. And like, the back seats aren't actually that bad, but it's all shagged across the top. So I'll talk to them, if they can get a decent match, you might just do the top part and leave the bottom part. I'll have a good look, you know, if there's no damage in it, it mightn't hurt just to leave that, you know, just doing the top part, if they can get matches. That's the biggest problem. It's like this sort of stuff that will screw us up. And if they can't get that apart to just repair that, we might have to do top and bottom. Like, you know, if the door panels all match, but the seat coverings are slightly different but close, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it is what it is. And probably get some new some lighty brown carpets, I guess, just to tidy it up, I guess. You know, we'll see how that pans out. I might better buy a carpet kit cheaper than get one made and throw in it, but I'll leave that kind of till last. I'll price one up, and if if it's in the budget, you know, we'll do it because it's pretty stuffed. You know, like the floors look pretty good. So, you know, it wouldn't hurt to have some new carpets in there. But you like the padding, like those front seats are shot, really. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably not shot, but their upholstery is definitely shot. But the door panels aren't too bad. You know, they'll clean up. Like, it's a little bit water damaged over there, but like if you start doing door panels as well, all of a sudden, you know, there's another $1,500. So yeah, and she's stipulated that she doesn't really want to go anything over sort of, you know, 10 grand on it. But by the time you do seats and tyres and you know, fix the rust, you know, and buy the paint and change all the walls and all those sorts of things, and labour, you know, it mightn't be far away. You know, by the time you patch that, you know, and there's bound to be rusting behind these pieces, I fucking guarantee it. You know, clean up the boot lid. There's a few funny spots like that. If we get a good match, because it's definitely been painted before. You know, we're not sure what we're going to find behind windows, so we might have to clean it in and blow it in around here, you know, to clean it up. But yeah, we need a really fucking good hot match. What I'll do is when I pull it off, I'll walk around and I'll make sure that's pretty close to everything, if you know what I mean. And if that's close to everything, well, we'll be pretty good, because I don't want to paint the whole thing. I don't think it warrants it, if you know what I mean. At that point, you know, I may as well paint it purple for, like she was thinking. You know, we'll just give everything else a good clean up and a polish and whatever, and just go through it and check the brakes, make sure the brakes aren't seized on, change the fluid probably in the brakes as well. You know, we're probably going to have to flush the tank. It's been sitting for 4 years, so they'd be getting pretty varnishy. And so yeah, once I get it inside, I'll try to see if the battery will charge. You know, that probably needs replaced because it's dead flat, like it's completely dead flat. It may come back to life, we'll see. But yeah, I'll see if I can get the fuel out of it. You know, put some fresh gas in it. The tank should be fine. It was only 4 years ago. Like, it hasn't been sitting long. It's not as though it's been sitting 10 or 15 years or whatever. It's not that long ago. So yeah, anyway, we'll have to leave it here. I'll have to get someone to give me a hand, because like I said, I think the brakes are dragging. So we'll just pop down here later on with Mrs. and the boy, and we'll push her in, and then we can, you know, we'll get it up on some axle stands, and we'll start dealing with it. And hopefully this other one turns up. I haven't heard from the other guy. They were meant to be getting it in here, but I haven't heard from him. So yeah, that was when it was last registered here in New Zealand. So it was first registered in the 5th month of 76. Yeah, and it was, yeah, funnily enough, it's actually 5th month of 2020. We don't start with month and then day. We're a day month here. So yeah. So that was the last time it was registered. Yeah, right, so we got it inside. I'm just taking the fuel flap off. And I'll just pull the tape off there. Thrown the battery on charge. I'll just do it in here. Hopefully it'll lift. I don't know. It's probably, it just says it's flat. Like, it just says charge, like it's, if their little indicator is white. It says replace. So hopefully it's just gone flat, and it may lift. It may not come right back, but we'll find out. I can always throw the multimeter on it as well, but we'll leave it overnight or whatever, even a day or two. Just let it trickle up. So yeah, I want to get it up in the ear. I think I'll take the bonnet off, or the hood off. I have to be careful in here. I'll probably have to do some small repairs here and weld that up. It's broken. So when we get this to glue back together, like, I'm going to have to go in here and clean all this up probably. Like, try and hold this apart and get this all cleaned up so we can get some the glue, the urethane or whatever the glue for gluing panels together. So we'll do that. we'll go through and see if we can get as much old shit out as we possibly can. So that was a bracket, because it's got friggle support along here. It wouldn't be so bad if it like had a piece up around there like that, because it would hold it, but it's just that one little bit at the back, you know, kind of holding it there. So yeah, and we'll try and get some paint matched up. I'm half tempted. I really need to turn the lights on, but the colour is kind of okay for a match. It's not like it's been repainted in bits and pieces, like it's been blended at some point, if you know what I mean. So it's just a matter of whatever. So I might even see if I can get the bottom of the guard undone. Can I take it right off? Yeah, no, these fucking things are, thought they're welded on. So yeah, I'll have to do it in place. It looks like it comes off, but it doesn't. But a sneaking suspicion these fucking things were welded on. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll just cut the bottom off the guard. We might take that in for a match as well. Just take both things and just see if you can get something that's kind of close in between. Like, we'll give it a clean, we'll give it a polish and whatever, like a bloody good cut, I should say, and whatever. Like, it's pretty shiny anyway, but once we're finished, we'll give it a brighten up. But yeah, you just cut that bottom piece off, just see if we can get a better match between whatever, if you know what I mean. We'll whack one side off the other. I'll pull the tape off that side too, give it a bit of a clean up. And yeah, I need to order these window rubbers, get them on the way, so we can get the glass out of it, and at least then I can see what's going on in here too. I think a litre should be enough to blow on these couple little bits and pieces. You know, it might give enough to flick an edge, and wherever, you know, like here, like that's going to need welded up as well. So we might see if I can. I don't know, a bit of a weird way to do it. Yeah, they did it. So we might have to try and see and put a little reinforcer in or something in there. Right, yeah, so the tyre situation's not too good. The back two are 2012, but the compound's pretty hard. So what I would do is actually take one of them off, whatever the best one is, and put it in a spare to replace this one, and then replace the other three. Like this one here that was in the spare, I can't find a date on it. It's a Firestone, so it is a radial, but it's just a and you say a 15513, and it was probably made here in New Zealand. I was trying to find the manufacturer's date or the where it was made, but it looks like it's been worn off just rubbing on curbs and stuff, if you know what I mean. A little bit of curb rub. Or I don't think it's been a retread. No, I don't think it has been retreaded, because they were retreading shit back then. But yeah, it looks like it was like a brand new tyre. I don't think it's been retreaded, but yeah, I can't find a manufacturer's date on it. But that one's 2006. So back to we're borderline 12 years old, like we're Christmas 23. So they are 12. That's 18. That's more than 25. And so is that one. That's as far as the date I can pick on up, and I think it's 95, because it's 3-digit numbers, and normally the first number is the year of the decade. So back then they didn't have they wouldn't have had 95, they just would have had 5, so it could be 95 or 85. To me, I'd say it's 95. But yeah. so tour tyres are at least freaking, it's 28 years old. That's probably not far behind it. That's 18, and those two are 12. So I would keep one of them as a spare. It's probably fine for a spare, and throw 4 new ones on the road. Anyway, so got it up in the air. I'm gonna hack probably. Yeah, I might go this side. I think it's actually more left. we'll cut the bottom of this here. We'll just cut below this line. When I make it, I'll join it back in about the same place. But I just want that colour. Like, I am going to take the petrol flat with me, but I'm just going to take this just in case. Like, then they put it on one of those natural lights, and just see if there's much difference in colour. Like, we can give it a bit of one of the spots a bit of a clean up, and so we order that. Yeah, and we'll just go from there. Right, so I cut that bit off. Gave these a quick wee buff, just with my little 12 volt buffer. I think they're pretty close for colour, so that's cool. I'll take both in, and he can measure it with his frickin' paint machine and get a bit of a reading for both, and then obviously just maybe get something that's right in between or fucking something like that, so it kind of blends. To me it looks like it's mainly the same colour, but there's patches where it's has been oversprayed, and how good the match is I don't know, but yeah, as long as if we can get really fucking close to that, we'll be right. So there's obviously a bit of rotting behind there. I'll cut the other one off later, but we'll take these pieces to town, and we'll get the rest of our other stuff ordered and sorted, and get some walls and that on the way. So at least once we've got it hot and running and all those sorts of bits and pieces, and we'll let it run for a while. I'll make sure everything's right, make sure like the lady said she was driving it around in 2020, so it should be gone, and she hadn't long bought it, she just drove it around for a wee while. And obviously these sorts of things here make cars fail on warrants, and I think the tyres would have pretty failed too at that point. Well, not, back ones probably would have been okay in 2020 because they would have only been 80 years old, but now it's 4 years later. But yeah, the other ones wouldn't have passed. That one there is all like dry, starting to get dry rotted and whatever. So, but yeah, we'll go from there. Looks like the battery's slowly coming up, so that's cool. That's cool. It might come around, so that's handy. Just saves us having to buy a battery. It's cable tied in too, so I might have to make up a clamp for that. Better make up a pretty simple clamp for that. Fix that problem, just lots of little stupid shit like that, We'll give it a wee splash of paint. If I make something up and actually paint it that same colour, that'll tie in nicely, or paint it black, whatever. Right, morning everybody, welcome back. So, had the battery on charge on this overnight. Obviously shot into town yesterday. We've got our paint being sorted. I actually waited for the owner of the paint place to get back, because the other two guys that work in there, good guys, and they, know the products, but the manager or owner or however that works, I'm not 100% sure. He's got a lot of paint knowledge using products, so because I don't know what's on this, I'm guessing it's probably lacquer from back in the day, or acrylic or something. I'm not 100% sure what this would have been sprayed in 76, and I'm not sure if it's still original paint either, but it's been touched up at some point. So I just questioned putting 2K on it. So I just left the samples with them. I said just scan both just to see, obviously, if there is much difference in that colour under one of those machines. But yeah, just have a wee yarn to him and just see what he would recommend to put on it to blend it in with this. With being older paint, it's a wee bit different when you're working with some of the more modern stuff from the likes of the 90s on, base coat, clear coats and all that sort of shit. That's easy. But I don't want the paint to look totally different, if you know what I mean. Like this will come up with a pretty good. I'll give this a wee buff before we give it back and all that sort of shit, so it'll be nice and clean and tidy. But I just don't want, the paint to be vastly different. Because I'm a bit worried if I put 2K on it or something like that, it might look a bit odd. But it is what it is, if you know what I mean. But anyway, so we'll just see whether, I don't know, I don't want to turn it over for long or anything like that. It's actually got an electric fuel pump. I might turn the fuel pump off or disconnect the fuel pump. I just want to see whether it'll spin over, you know, whether the batteries come up enough to spin it over all right. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, I've got oils and lots of stuff. The trans filter kit, I had to wait on that overnight, but it's been delivered to the place this morning. She just sent me a message just first thing, so it's absolutely freaking awesome. So I'm waiting on the paint, and then I've also ordered myself a welding top, just for, I don't know, I just seem to destroy clothes, and I'm sick of buying, what, I go into like some of the cheaper places in town and just buy hoodies a lot of the time, just saying for welding and whatever, but some of them are really good though. Some of them got a bit of guts to them, but some of them are just shit. And like I don't want to go spend like really good money on a half decent thick hoodie just to weld with. So I went and bought myself one of those fucking leather welding tops that I can just throw on if I'm doing a lot of welding. I don't mind if it's just zapping a couple bits together, just tack welding shit, but you know, that doesn't matter quite so much. But if I'm all of a sudden, like, you know, I'll get everything all put together and then I can just throw the welding top on there and I can blaze it all together, and I'm not destroying the fucking clothes. And same with grinding. If I'm all of a sudden doing a heap of grinding or heap of cutting or whatever like that, I'm going to throw it on. It's going to be a bit hot, but it is what it is. I'm just trying to save clothes. I don't like really wearing overalls or coveralls. I did think about I might get some half decent heavy cotton bibs, like sort of type of overalls where they're just the legs and then like the straps over top, you know, and it's got a decent front on it. I may get some of those as well, but that doesn't protect your arms when you're welding and destroying clothes either. So yeah, that'd be something like that, because that would be actually all right wearing in the winter time, you know, with a pair of bib overalls, and then you can throw a welding jacket over as well, because they don't need a lot of heat here. It doesn't get real cold, a little bit, if you know what I mean. It's not like Canada or Minnesota or something like that, where it gets down to frickin', you know, cold enough to frickin' freeze frickin', I don't know, you know what I mean. But anyway, so you will disconnect the fuel pump in a minute, just so I know it doesn't frickin' fill the carburetor full of fuel. So we'll do that, and then yeah, we'll have assessment on this patch down here, and we'll cut the other side off as well. Then we can get that all cleaned up, and we're gonna have to fill some holes in here on the inside part of it. But it still looks fairly solid. We'll give it a clean up, and obviously we'll assess that, see how lack of solid it is. But yeah, I just wouldn't mind just spinning her over, and obviously just have a quick wee, just make sure everything sounds right, get a bit of oil pressure up in it, and yeah, and then we'll try and drain the gas out of it. If the battery's coming up all right, still looks black. I reckon it's still pretty low. I reckon it'll be on a pretty low charge. I think this is just like a little low charge thing. But yeah, I think it'll be just sort of trickling it up, if you know what I mean. I might have to go get Dad's better charger. I think that's more of a maintenance, but it'll bring it up slow, so it won't sort of bring it back up. So we will see whether it's got enough guts in it to spin it over, and yeah, we'll disconnect like I said, the fuel, so we don't pump the freaking carb full of shitty fuel, and we'll go from there. Right. Disconnect it. I might just disconnect it. You can probably find something and just run it into it. And that'll tell me whether that's cool. That's good, eh? Oh, It's had a manual fuel pump on it, and somebody's put an electric fuel pump on it. The manual fuel pump's just been looped around with a bit of hose. Probably better off with an electric one on. To be honest. Maybe. I don't know how long that's. Almost looks like that's been replaced. To run into something. Yeah, fun and all. Sit where I want it to roll. Play a game. Sure that's for. Right. We got there eventually. I'll turn the key on. We'll better see if the fuel pump works anyway. There we go on the battery. Doesn't smell too bad. Doesn't smell too bad. For 4 years old, it wasn't all that bad. I don't know if I'll trust it though, you know what I mean? Might be right just to throw in the lawnmower. Biggest problem is it doesn't really have a fuel gauge on it. Per se. Like a quarter of 10, that might take a wee while. I don't trust the old fuel. I'll see if I can find a container that we can just run the pump into something, and then at least then we can get some fresh gas in it. Let's get around the back blocks. freaking flare they got in there. I just wouldn't trust that old fuel. It might be alright, you know, it might be okay. Fuck it, it's not going to run very good on. Get on there. Let's get down to there. All right. 2 inch or 2. Flip the key on and run that down into there. Hopefully it won't take too long to do that. Might just see if we turn over. Not enough to pick the battery there. Looks like it's stuck in the screen. Probably wouldn't be enough to make that actually just spin it over. Right, continue. So there's a wee bit of fuel in it. I'm guessing it's probably might be that again. And it is not too bad, but you know, it's 4-year-old fuel. You know, I wouldn't trust it. It might be fine, if you know what I mean, but it's pretty clean. I just don't know whether it's, you know, how good it is. You know, will it actually fire something up? I don't know. You know what I mean? So we'll put some fresh stuff in it when we get out, but I'm just going to make a couple of phone calls. I haven't ordered the windscreen rubbers yet because I wasn't 100% sure whether I was going to end up with it. But yeah, now that we've got it, and I didn't get a chance to order them yesterday, so I'll ring that guy up and quiz him on that, and then I'll probably pull the hood off and the boot lid off, and we'll start cleaning up those bits and pieces, and I'll get down here eventually and get that, but I'll wait till I've got the fuel out of the road, just in case, and yeah, go from there. It wants to turn over, but I don't know whether the battery's just a bit low to not kick the starter out properly. I got it to sort of, and then yeah, I can't get it to go again. So whether maybe the starter might be a little stuck too, I don't know. We'll deal with that a wee bit later on. We'll just still plenty of fuel pumping out of there, so we'll let that keep going. I'll just, you know, it'd be handy for just cleaning up a few parts at some point. Like I wouldn't try and run anything on it. Maybe I could pour some all the old oils into it and make some diesel fuel. I don't know. Not that I'd try and run it on the Hyundai, but if it was like a dirty old Nissan or something like that from, you know, the 80s and 90s, I would ever go. But yeah, so I know people do that. I'm not quite sure what the ratio is meant to be, but why not? Anyway, but yeah, we'll get the fuel out first, and then we'll see if we can get it to turn over, and make sure we can get that to constantly do all that on the key. And yeah, then we'll put some fuel. We'll go get some fresh fuel and we'll put in it. We'll just go grab, we'll grab, I don't know, 20 litres or whatever. 4 gallons or 5 gallons, whatever one of these fucking things are. Depending on whether you're in the US or whatever. So yeah, whatever these work out to be. 20 litres, 5 US gallons. And that's 20 litres, so it's 20 litres a little bit more. Now UK gallons I think would be up here, like it's a different measurement. I don't know why, but I think the UK gallons is a little bit more than 20 litres. So I think the US is like 3.8 litres for a gallon or whatever it is, but I think the UK gallon is like 4 point something. It's like a little bit over. I'm not 100% sure of the exact conversion. But yeah. Oh, this is also what I grabbed yesterday. Well, it sounds like it might be getting low. It's good. This is the same brand at Outlaw, but it's just rattle can primer. So if I just need to do a couple of touch-ups, so just 1K epoxy, sort of like rattle can primer. Just if you've got a couple of little spots you just need to blow in, instead of like mixing up some 2-pack, just can use this. So yeah, so that's handy. So I grabbed that yesterday as well. So we'll test that out at some point. I might be able to use it on here, and if just a few little spots, you know what I mean? Like where we end up doing, maybe some little repairs like that, we might be able to just puff it in with a little bit of that. You know, just a few little coats and, maybe some like stuffing around here. But like the boot lid, if we end up scuffing that back, we'll put a proper coat of primer on. But for a few little edges like this, we can just puff it in a little bit and then puff the colour in over top, if you know what I mean. Well, it sounds like we're getting... Yeah, she's pretty much empty, isn't it? Still pumping a little bit, so we'll let it go for a little longer. But yeah. So yeah, what's that? I don't know, 10 litres odd. Couple of gallons. Fuel was in it. So it's probably got I see it was about quarter full. So it's probably got a 40 litre, maybe 45 litre tank. Anyway, we'll do a few other things and we'll come back to you shortly.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky on your mind. wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. 'Cause everything is a threat, but I never back down, man. I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fate. And she look better in bed. And I'ma rock this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left, so I'm gonna go down swinging. Don't you forget. Everything is so boring. Can't get up in the morning. I'm so sick of the mundane and routine. I'm gonna break without warning. I wanna taste the pain. I think I'm seeing all red. 2 bullets in the gun, 1 shot to the head. I need a blank space. 'Cause everything is a threat, but I never back down, man. I'd rather be dead. I'm making love to fate. And she look better in bed. And I'ma rock this life till I take my last breath. I wanna make a change. I got 1 life left, so I'm gonna go down swinging. Don't you forget. I've gotta find a new purpose. Something actually worth it. I wanna look in the mirror and like what I see. I'm sick of feeling so worthless. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm going off. I know it's time to make a change, and I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. I just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning. I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim? I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within. I get lost in the feeling. Just need a win. I'm going off. I know it's time to make a
Right, so we got that glass out. I'm just trying to clean all this freaking rubber and sealant that I've had on it. Then just trying to give it a wee polish around there just to see whether I can. Some of it was like this, and anyway, like the rubber came out to about here. But we'll have to put a wee bit of paint on parts, if you know what I mean. But we'll try and blend it. We've got a little, it's not bad, just a little scabby bit in the corner here. So we'll deal to that, and obviously, you know, we'll put a wee bit of paint on there. Like I've rubbed through in a couple of spots just trying to clean all that shit off. But I'm not too stressed, you know what I mean? Like we've got paint to go on it, so just trying not to. Like there you can see where the rubber comes up to, so it's not too bad, or we can hide it. Just, you know, we'll put a bit of paint on there just so it doesn't rust, obviously. You see the probably original colour is a wee bit more orangey, or that's, I don't know. It might have been fully resprayed at some point. Don't really know. Who would know? But yeah. So we're getting that all cleaned up. Just running around there with my little buffer just to try and clean it back up after I've been running around here with the Scotch Brite and brake clean trying to get all that shit off. So just trying to get that prepped, and then I'll do the back one as well. Right. So we update. So we bit of scabby rust here is a hole or 2. So apart from that hole, which I think is like a wee drain spot, a couple of little bits of rust in here. So we'll try and fill that. We might have to cut a little piece out of here and wet it in and whatever. Again, I knocked this back. There was a little bit of body filler in there. So it's definitely had some work, and there's like a little bit of a hole in here and here. So we'll try and do what we can with that. Reed patch, weld it up or something. I haven't cleaned back the bottom here. It's not too bad, but I had a look at this side. I thought, oh shit, that actually looks like it might be holes. But so I scuffed it back too. I'll climb down there in a minute. And round across there, I thought, oh, there might have been holes in it, but it looks like it's just chipped paint, and then it's starting to rust from the outside, not the inside out, if you know what I mean. There was a bit of a dent in here, for what reason I don't know, but I've just been trying to hammer it out with just that rubber block, just trying to see if I could, you can see where I'm hitting, just trying to slowly push that out gently without screwing shit up, if you know what I mean. Worst comes to worst if I have to do a little bit of body work. And here, like I'm going to have to paint down here anyway, but if I have to, we might be able to put a little bit of mud and just flick this corner and below the bumper and paint a wee bit down in here. because I'm going to have to paint down there now anyway, because I've cleaned the rusty metal off. I'll probably run over it with one of those Scotch-Brite discs at the bottom, really clean it up, and then flick a wee bit of rust convert. And behind this window, it looks really good. Obviously, I haven't cleaned everything up, but it's nice and clean, tidy. There's no rusty spots, just paint. You know, just dirt and paint, really. So that's cool. So yeah, I may clean the bottom of that back. I don't know yet. Or whether. Oh, actually, I'll climb down there and show you. That old run. Some rubbish to the other road in the meantime. So yeah, I thought it was rusty, but it's kind of not. And you can see there's a wee bit of body filler in here, so there's a wee bit of weirdness going on in a couple of spots. So we might just, I don't know. If we're going to paint this, I might do a little bit of body work and just make this a wee bit better. Not that I probably need to, if you know what I mean. But if I'm going to be putting a wee bit of paint down there, it's not hard to flick it up into here. If it's a good match. If it's not a good match, I'll just dust down the bottom and we'll leave this alone. And I'll just knock the worst of that dint out. It's got a bit of a ripple there too, if you know what I mean. So something's gone a bit weird there somewhere in here, whatever, but it is what it is, you know what I mean. We'll either leave it alone or we can fix it. But I just cleaned it back because I thought maybe it had holes in it, maybe not. And the same here, it's just on the outside, there's no holes further in. So we'll just, again, we'll just want to put a little patch in there or see if we can weld it up or something like that, you know. Might just cut that out and put a wee patch and then weld it and dress it up. But everything else looks good. Like, I don't think I'm going to have to take anything off or anything like that. And we've still got to cut the bottom off that yet. And obviously then clean up in the insides or whatever. But we still got to do that now and clean all that up. And obviously the same on the inside. And I think everything else. There's a wee bit of funny stuff here. I don't know what they're worth. Maybe knocking some of that shit off and then just dusting a little bit of paint in there. We'll see how we get on. We'll see how good a match it is. You know, some of these things I'll decide whether we can just scuff a little bit of stuff, you know, and then whatever. Because we're still going to do strip that boot lid as well, where it's peeling. You know, the paint's a bit iffy here, but it's like, you know, what do you fix, what don't you fix? You know, you're not respraying the whole fucking car. So it's kind of just, do we just try and clean this up before it gets bad? You know, probably just stone chips and shit. And then it started bubbling, so we probably wouldn't take much just to knock that off and then just flick a little bit of paint back on there, but how far do we go, if you know what I mean? We're just trying to fix the little bits and pieces that are going to turn nasty, if you know what I mean. Or could turn real nasty. Like, so, you know, that if you left that for another 3 or 4 years and didn't do anything with it, you know, next thing it might be a graping. You know, if it got used a bit, you know, and it happened to sit outside the odd time, you know, it might end up with a big gaping great hole there at some point. But anyway, I think I'll sort myself out. I'll get these frickin' boards out of the road now. We might shift in down to the back later, clean up around that window, and then decide what we're going to do. But we'll give that a wee clean up and a wee buff around the edges, just to see what it comes up like. If it cleans up like this, you know, we'll just touch up with a wee bit of paint on a brush, run over it with a buff when it's got nice and hard, and yeah, and then just put the windscreen back in, you know what I mean, after we fix this. I might have to buy myself a minigun. I've been meant to do that for a long time too, just to we more control, but that won't matter too much. But anyway, we'll carry on, or get a few more little bits and pieces sorted before the end of the day. Kind of got semi-interrupted in bits and pieces with other stuff, but you know, we'll carry on, and then we'll, yeah, probably come back to you just before we bugger off for the day.